What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and we are proudly sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you're a growing business and you need some support in enhancing that growth, I cannot recommend Action Coach Sheffield enough. They have helped us in more ways than I can tell you about. And thank you to our Ramblers who continue to support us through Patreon and YouTube. They are the backbone of this channel and they continue helping us progress. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. So thank you so much. It's very much appreciated. Welcome to our new subscribers as well. We continue to grow, which is fantastic. I think 5K before Christmas Day is looking very optimistic at the moment, but I never said which Christmas Day. That's key. I never confirmed whether it was 2023, 2024, or even 2025. So, look, I think when the team's not doing well, I've lost several subscribers. We've continued to grow, but it's obviously been gradual. And I've lost several subscribers by giving my opinion. A few comments that have sort of said I'm now turning negative and it's an agenda against Eki and I only want Wilder in and all this sort of thing. I've made no secret. And this is what this vid's about today, to be honest. We're going to talk on the Ramble today about the potential for how the Rotherham job can potentially directly affect Sheffield United. And it may well be a good thing. So I've made no secret of the fact that I think Chris Wilder could come in and galvanise this squad, get the best out of them. He certainly has his flaws. I'm not claiming he's perfect, but I have admitted rose-tinted glasses when it comes to Wilder, and I think he would provide that X factor that gets that extra 5 or 10% out of the players. That's always what he did best in terms of getting the most out of players with limited ability, or being the underdog is probably the best way of looking at it. So I genuinely think that Chris Wilder would be an upgrade on Eki, who I think is left wanting sometimes tactically, particularly during a game. I think pre-planned substitutions are just a big no-no for me. I don't think he always judges the level right in terms of what players he wants to bring in or retain and things of that nature. And I'm not saying Wilder proved that he did a much better job than that, but what Wilder definitely did was galvanise the players he had at his disposal and got something out of them. Didn't work in the second season in the Prem. There are mitigating factors for that, and we can go back and forth on that all day long. And this is one of the issues that we've had as a fan base, because some people are in my camp where it's time for a change and I think a new voice is necessary. That was also, I need to point out, we've just got 4 points from 2 very difficult games. However those points have come about, whether it's a lucky red card, whether it's a last-minute penalty, it doesn't matter. You earn your own luck sometimes. And we've been on the wrong end of some bad luck previously. So I'm taking nothing away from the team in terms of what they've done in the last couple of games. And it's the wrong time to sack him. And I don't think we will sack him over the international break. And I think he'll at least get Bournemouth and potentially also Burnley. This huge couple of 6-pointers coming up could define our season. The Millers have just sacked Matt Taylor. They got thumped at the weekend, 5-0 by Watford, who haven't been great themselves this season, although they have started to pick up a little bit. And the favourite for the job is none other than Tufty himself, Chrissy Wilder. And I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if he went there. None of us know if the rumours linking Wilder to Eki's job are true. Nobody knows if it's paper talk. Nobody knows if people are putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5. For all we know, there may be a foreign manager waiting in the wings if Eki's to go. We don't even know if Eki's under any threat. It's just us speculating and paper talk, isn't it? So we've no idea what sort of conversations have gone on in the background. But if speculation is to be believed, then Wilder is the leading candidate to come in should Eki be sacked. If he goes to Rotherham, because Eki's had a slight upturn in results, so it's probably less likely at the moment that Wilder comes in imminently. If he goes to Rotherham, he closes the door on coming back to United, which he might do because there might not have been any conversations. If Wilder goes in at Rotherham and closes the door on a return to United, then is that going to be a good thing? I think there'll be a lot of people who don't want Wilder back wanting him to go to Rotherham just to end all this speculation. And that's absolutely fine if that's the way you think. I also think if Wilder goes to Rotherham, people like me and people of a similar thought process have to accept whether we like it or not, that Wilder will not be coming back, certainly in the short term. And we have to get our heads around that in terms of, look, we don't think it's good enough currently. I think the manager should be doing more personally. I think that he should have been given more money in the summer. I think the players we brought in should have been of a higher caliber. So it's not all on Eki. I just think the thing to change for an immediate impact in the Premier League and give us a fighting chance is to change the manager. However, he's got 4 points in the last 2. He's earned the right to play Bournemouth and Burnley in my eyes. I just think they're as big a games as we're going to get this season. But then, say he gets a couple of positive results. Say he gets 4 points from the next 2 games. We have to then stop talking about Eki, don't we? We have to stop talking about his job because it's causing division throughout the fan base. And that's just to lay my cards bare on the table. I don't see a time where I will, and it may happen because people have turned me before. Jack Robinson is a prime example. In the first season that Eki came in, he did a great job to pick the players up and go again. And we finished 5th and we fell short in the playoffs. And we were very unlucky. It was a toss of a coin, really, between us and Forest on that penalty shootout. I can't take anything away from him in that regard. He's then brought through Illiman and Dye. And because of Illiman, largely, we were promoted. And that's, I don't mean to minimise anybody else's, but we haven't got time to go through a season review, have we? But bringing Tommy Doyle in and James McAtee were a masterstroke, even though he was reluctant to play them. We can't forget that he wanted to play Norwood and Fleck ahead of both of them. But ultimately, it's worked out for the best. We ended up getting promoted, but I think with that squad, Sander Berger, as much as I haven't got many nice things to say about Sander, you can't deny his quality, certainly at championship level. Illiman and Dye is one of the best players the championship's ever seen. So we get promoted like we should have done, and we get 1 point in the first 10 games, and people are having a pop when I'm questioning, is Eki the right man? Because they want to blame the ownership, who should have given him more money. But they've come out and said, we haven't got the money to give him. So as much as we all want more money as a fan base, we recognise where we are as a club. He wanted to give Ender Stevens, Billy Sharp, John Fleck, Ben Osborne, who had a good game at the weekend, but these are not Premier League players. He wanted to give them all extra years on the contract. I think that's misguided. I think it's short-sighted. Some of the players that were identified, Traore, Larouci, don't look ready. I know the development players and development signings, but we're going into a Premier League season. Luton have brought in Ross Barkley on a free, Andros Townsend on a free, Premier League ready players. Give them a 1-year contract or a release clause on relegation, and let's have a go with some actual quality in our ranks. I think we've been way off. I don't think Eki's a Premier League manager. I would love nothing more, genuinely, because it means Sheffield United are doing well. We all, collectively, everybody wants Sheffield United to do well. And if Eki is the man to steer us to safety in the Premier League, I will rejoice and jump for joy. The reason I want change is because I don't think he's capable. And I think someone else is more capable of giving us that chance to get safety in the Premier League. That's the reason I think we need a change. However, if Wilder goes to Rotherham, that comes off the table. And I don't see currently anybody that's got the CV to come in and change it. Or certainly they might have a CV. You could go for a Hassan Hootel, who might do a decent job. He's a big outlay with no guarantee of success. You could go for a Big Sam, who is a bit of a survival specialist, hasn't always worked every time. His last couple has failed with West Brom and Leeds, hasn't So people will poo-poo that idea, but he will be in the mix if we sack Eki. So, but it's not for me. I think if Wilder's not going to be the man, then we stick with Eki. And ironically, this could actually bring the fan base a little bit closer together. That's not because I think Eki's good enough. I think that's because there isn't anybody else that could potentially get more of a tune out of this squad. So we stick with a long-term plan. I get these sort of rambles are controversial, but I always think it's an interesting talking point and it's something that's relevant to the fan base. It's happening right now in terms of Wilder being linked to other jobs. I'll be really interested. I'll be surprised if he goes for it. But clearly, if he goes for Rotherham and he gets it, then we know that it weren't really on cards that he were coming in for Eki anyway. If he doesn't go for the Rotherham job after being a favourite, then you can I would rightly assume that he's waiting in the wings to see what happens in the Bramall Lane hot seat. I know where we are in terms of we're a split fan base. What we're aiming for is to understand everybody's different point of view and respect everybody's different point of view, because it's not, oh, what is Jimmy talking about? It's an anti-Ecky campaign, all this sort of stuff. I genuinely think we'd be better making that change. But others will disagree, and it don't make me right. It don't make me right. It's on Ecky to prove me wrong, isn't it? And if Ecky continues to get results, if he gets 4 points from next 2 games, then he's well on his way to proving me wrong. Well on his way. If we beat Bournemouth and then even go get a point at Turf Moor, then I will be happy as Larry. And we could well be out of the relegation zone. Whatever happens over next week, 2 weeks, let's try and come back together a little bit. We've had 4 points from 2 games, and on reflection, it's a very, very good 4 points. Listen, I know we're a little bit greedy and wanted 6 the way the Brighton game went, and I stand by my post-game comments. But when you look at it in cold light of day, 4 points from those 2 games, we couldn't have asked for much more at all. We take it, we move on. We move on to Bournemouth in a good run of form and desperate to keep that momentum going. I've got some really exciting stuff planned for the channel. I'm not quite ready to give you a teaser video yet. I might just smack something on the screen. But yeah, there's some exciting content coming. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. We're releasing some more Football Manager content over on the Jimmy Ramble YouTube channel. If that's something you're interested in, go over there and give it a watch. Give us a cheeky little sub there if you want as well. But for now, whichever way it goes, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the blades! Ramble on!